Welcome to America Reads Fun Learning Activities. We are college students who create fun learning activities for kids. Our fun activities are focused on reading, writing, and math. Thank you for joining us to learn today. My name is Mackenzie, and today we are going to make our own funny short stories. I have created a story and left some of the word blanks for you to help me fill in today. For our activity today, please grab a pencil and some paper, as well as some colored pencils or markers if you would like to illustrate your story after we write. Once you're ready with the materials, let's get started. Before we take a look at the story, we're going to choose which words we're going to fill in the blanks in the story so that we can add them in later. In order to fill in the blanks, we need specific types of words such as nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. To start out with, create a list of the numbers 1 through 10 like you can see here. Now, together we are going to think of 10 words to fill in the 10 blanks in my story, but we need specific types of words. For example, let's start out with the first word, which you can write next to the number 1 on your list. The first word needs to be an adjective. Do you remember what an adjective is? That's right. An adjective is a word that describes a person, a place, or an object. For example, I am going to choose the adjective yellow. Go ahead and think of your own adjective and write it next to number 1 on your list. Now let's move on to number 2. For number 2, we need a plural noun. Can you remember what that means? A noun is a person, a place, or an object, and when a noun is plural, that means there is more than one. For example, I am going to choose the word turtles. Go ahead and think of a plural noun and write it next to number 2 on your list. Next is number 3. For number 3, we need a regular noun. Remember that a noun is a person, a place, or an object, only this time we're not doing it plural noun. For example, I'm going to choose the word giraffe. Go ahead and think of a noun and write it next to number 3 on your list. Now for number 4, we are going to need a past tense verb. Do you remember what that is? Verbs are words that describe an action such as run, walk, or sleep. A past tense verb describes an action that happened in the past, such as ran, walked, or slept. For example, I'm going to choose the word danced. Go ahead and think of a past tense verb and add it to your list next to the number 4. Now for number 5, we need another plural noun. This time, I'm going to choose the word watermelons. Go ahead and think of another plural noun and write it next to the number 5 on your list. For number 6, we are going to need an adverb. This one is a little bit more tricky, but can you remember what that is? An adverb is similar to an adjective, but rather than describing a noun, an adverb describes a verb. For example, you can run quickly, or you can walk slowly, or you can sleep quietly. For example, I'm going to choose the word gracefully. Go ahead and think of an adverb and write it next to number 6 on your list. For number 7, we need another verb. This time, it is not a past tense verb, just a regular verb in the present tense. For example, I'm going to choose the word jump. Go ahead and think of a verb and write it next to the number 7 on your list. For number 8, we need another adverb. For example, this time I'm going to choose the word loudly. Go ahead and think of another adverb and write it next to the number 8 on your list. For number 9, we need another adjective. For example, this time I'm going to choose the word tall. Go ahead and think of another adjective and write it next to number 9 on your list. Lastly, for number 10, we are going to need to think of one more noun. This time I'm going to choose the word hamster. Go ahead and think of a noun and write it next to the number 10 on your list. Now that we have thought of all the words that we need to fill in the story, let's take a look at the story now. I'm going to show you with the blanks where your words will go, and you can either write the story down and fill in where the words should go, or just read along with me, putting your words in the blanks as we read. Let's take a look at the story now. As you can see, each blank has a number which corresponds to the numbers on your list. Depending on whether you are going to write down the story or just read along with me, as we get to each blank, either write or say the word that you chose to fill in each blank space. If you want to write the story down, feel free to pause the video at any time. Let's go ahead and read the story now. It says, For my birthday, I had a very day with my first we went to the store and then I had the biggest cake ever decorated with. I ate the cake. Then my friends came over too and I opened my presents. The best present I got was I'm sure that your story turned out to be very silly, and I'm sure that mine did too. Let's see what my story ended up saying. My story ended up saying, for my birthday, I had a very yellow day with my turtles. First, we went to the giraffe store and danced. Then, I had the biggest cake ever, decorated with watermelons. I ate the cake gracefully. Then my friends came over to jump, and I opened my presents loudly. The best present I got was a tall hamster. That was definitely a funny story. Now you have a silly story that you can draw a picture for if you would like to. Thank you for doing this activity with me today. I hope you were able to create a silly story while practicing nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Like and subscribe to our channel and we'll be back with more videos.